Hello and welcome to What's Your Wine Wednesday. My name is Yvonne Lorkin, but you already knew that because you're on my Facebook page. Far out, what a Wednesday, what a week. Yeah, don't know how you're all feeling about the news and everything that's going on in the Northern Hemisphere. Hi Jude, how are you? Everything that's going on in America. It's pretty wild, and I feel very deeply for everyone over there and the struggles that Black Americans are having. Anyway, that's for another talk. What we're going to do is we're going to just kind of block out some of the crazy that's been happening this week, and we're going to taste some wine. Now, a couple of What's Your Wine Wednesdays ago, I had a suggestion from someone saying, why don't you have a look at Merlots and Cabernets? Because, you're always doing things like Chardonnays and Gewürztraminas and Pinot Gris and some, crazy, wacky wines. And I thought, that's so true. I mean, we're surrounded by Cabernet and Merlot all the time. So, why don't we do a little bit of a tasting? And I thought, hey, we're easing into the winter months. So the time is ripe to kind of get our chops around some nice, sturdy red wines. So what are we going to do first? Well, I thought we're only going to look at local wines for a start, so just New Zealand wines today. We can do some French and some Aussie and some Californian and South African another time. We're just going to look at buying local today. So we're going to start with a Cabernet Sauvignon, just on its own, like 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Then we're going to look at a Merlot, 100% Merlot, right? And then we're going to do a Cabernet Merlot, and then we're going to do a Merlot Cabernet, and then we might have a little bit of a smorgasbord of some other varieties after that. Is that okay with everyone? I hope so. Okay, let's start. So, first up, my very first wine is the Brookfields Ohiti Estate. Hopefully you can see the label there. Ohiti Estate Cabernet Sauvignon 2017. Now I know that Brookfields have moved on to 2018, but there's still some of this in the market. And I'm telling you about this one first because it's great and it's so affordable. It's like only about 20 bucks, which is brilliant. Now, what does it taste like? Let's just have a little bit of a pour. As you can see, it's red, but it's really lovely and dark and glossy and gorgeous. Now, let's just put that back there. Fiddly-dee. Okay, so Ohiti Estate. Hi, guys from Winefolio. Hi, Terry Horn. How you doing? So, Cabernet Sauvignon from Ohiti Estate. If you're not sure where Ohiti is, it's in Hawke's Bay. It's if you're driving through Fern Hill, you hang a left on the Taihape Road and then another left on Ohiti Road, and it's kind of this sun trap, this heat trap of a site beside the Naruroro River. Okay, so that's where Ohiti is, and it's great for ripening Cabernet Sauvignon. So Brookfields, the winemaker and owner is Peter Robertson, who's been making wine for, could be wrong, but like 40 something years. I mean, he actually worked with the great Tom McDonald at McWilliams Wines and then became Church Road. So he has a very, very long, very prestigious history in making red wines, well, making wine full stop in Hawke's Bay. So this is the Ohiti Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's kind of Brookfield's entry-level Cabernet. And it smells like black currant, bay leaf, lovely kind of peppery characters in there, all of those things that you expect in Cabernet Sauvignon, but there's an extra little kind of menthol-y note. And it's really interesting, menthol and kind of a herbaceous character as well, which is not surprising when you think about Cabernet Sauvignon's parentage, right, or its breeding, because it had to come from somewhere. Now, the spiritual home of Cabernet Sauvignon, hi Kate Webb, the spiritual home of Cabernet Sauvignon is Bordeaux, and particularly on the left-hand side of the Gironde estuary, right? So if you look at a map of France, there's a great big estuary which then separates into two rivers, the Dordogne and the Gironde, or Garonne, sorry. And on the left bank of the estuary is where Cabernet Sauvignon is most dominant in the wines, and on the right bank is where Merlot is most dominant in the wines, but we're going to look at Merlot later. Cabernet Sauvignon has been proven to be the progeny of a red grape, Cabernet Franc, and a white grape, Sauvignon Blanc. I know, right? It's crazy. So Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc did the wild thing in the woods one night in the mists of time and gave birth to Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's not surprising that you're going to get things like black currant and plum, you know, cherry, berry fruits, all those things that Cabernet Franc is famous for. But then you get the herbaceous notes and kind of earthy sort of black currant leaf and slightly mentholy, minty characters, you know, herbal notes that Sauvignon Blanc is famous for. So there you go. Anyway, what does it taste like? Really fresh. Really, really fresh. And it's not a heavyweight. It's like really approachable. The tannins are there. They're kind of chewy, a little bit furry around the gums. And yeah, you get the kind of smoky, slightly toasty character. So clearly it's been in French oak barrels, but it's not overwhelming, right? Not overwhelming at all. Really easy to drink, and I can still taste it. Great length of flavour. Really good length of flavour. You know, if you've got 20 bucks and you want a Cabernet Sauvignon, one that's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, so you can get your head around the characters of it. Hey, you know, the Brookfields, O'Heady Estate. Really good. Look them up online. It's also one of those wines that we feature regularly in Wine Friend in our Easy Everyday tier for those that love Cabernet Sauvignon, because whenever Pete and the team release an O'Heady Estate Cabernet, we're all over it. I just know that it's going to be good. So yeah, very happy about that one. Now, we are going to do a massive kind of leap up in the price stakes, okay? And literally the only reason we're kind of going from 20 bucks in our Cab Sav to $70 in our Merlot is because I felt like it, right? This is a wine that I've been wanting to try for ages. I've been keeping it for just such an occasion, you know, when I can kind of pit it against some other wines of its type. And, you know, hey, sometimes we just want to treat ourselves, right? So this is very funky. This is the Bostock Organic Vicky's Vineyard Hawke's Bay Merlot. Is that annoying for everyone? Sorry. 2017. So Bostock Organics, you're thinking, where do I know that name? And you know it from the chickens. Okay, so Bostocks have been growing, producing organic chicken in our, for our supermarkets for a long time. They also grow organic produce. They've been around Hawke's Bay. They're an organic legend in New Zealand. And not so long ago, they decided to turn some of their property on Ngātarewa Road, which is right in the middle of the Bridgepa Triangle, turn their property under the late Vicky Bostock's guidance into a vineyard. And they have Pinot Gris and Syrah, Chardonnay and Merlot. And we're going to taste this one now. So just take the cork out. Now, all of these wines I've decanted, okay, because I just wanted to make sure they were sort of ready to roll, you know, as soon as we did this tasting. And you're thinking, oh, that is mental. You don't want to decant everything, but it's so easy. And it really, if you've got a second, well, not a second, if you've got like 30 seconds to decant your wine, it will really, really pay off, particularly for your reds. And I even do it with Chardonnay as well. But you could use a whizzy bang flash decanter like this. This is a decanter that I've owned for a very, very long time, and it's a great decanter, but it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass to actually clean. Literally the only way that I can clean this decanter is by putting bleach and rice in the bottom and swishing it around, and then rinsing it for, you know, a very long time, and then it's clean. But, you know, that takes forever. So if you don't have a whizzy bang flash decanter, on hand, but you do want to get the best from your wine. Okay, I'm going to show you my trick. Have you got one of these, right? I've got a 2 litre one, I've got a 1 litre one, Briscoe's has taken a lot of money from me with these Pyrex jugs. So this is what I do when I don't have time to faff around with a proper decanter. I get my 2 litre jug and I go glug, 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 glug. I pour the whole bottle in there. Now, if I was not standing in my room, which has got carpet on the floor, I would just pour it straight back in the bottle, but I give it a little bit of a swizzy swish, swishy swish, and then I get a little funnel, chuck it in the neck of the bottle, and pour it in. And what that's doing is it is increasing the air, the exposure to air that the wine has. It's giving it a really good drink of oxygen. And that is just releasing, oh my God, the smell. What you need is smell-o-vision right now. The smell coming from this wine is amazing. It's just really giving all of those aromatics and hopefully those flavors a really good jolt into real life. So, I'm just turning my laptop back on. Bear with. All right, so the smell, incredible. So let's have a taste. And this is 100% Merlot from the Bridge Power Triangle. And Bridge Power in Hawke's Bay. It's Hawke's Bay's, I guess, New Zealand's newest wine appellation. And it's especially fantastic at growing Merlot and Chardonnay and Syrah. There's something about those iron-rich soils, those red gravels that have been laid down over eons by the flow of the Naruroro River. And they just do something to the wine which I can't even tell you how great it is. So, Merlot at its finest, and you'd expect something pretty fine for $70. Wow, it's going to give you everything that's in this glass, which is more of a kind of soft, fruity aroma profile. You know, you get soft plums, you know, red fruits, things like cherries, raspberries, like wild strawberries. Got to be the wild ones because, you know, the tame ones, you know, they're a bit sad. But lots of soft red fruits and like chocolate, but milk chocolate, not like dark chocolate, more like milk chocolate. Oh my goodness. And these glasses are perfect for tasting Merlot. Nice high sides, trapping the aromas. What does it taste like? Yum. And you'd expect yum for $70, but what's yum about it? What's yum about Merlot? Well, just like aromatically, how it's a little bit softer than Cabernet Sauvignon, at the palate, it's softer, but it's kind of plump and buxom and cuddly, plush. You know, it just coats the inside of the palate with this warmth, you know, kind of like this lovely woolliness. And it has a velvety texture that I can still feel. I have to have another sip, hope you don't mind. Is anyone at home at the moment with a glass of wine in their hand? You know, it is, what is it, 4:13 in the afternoon. You deserve it. It's a Wednesday. And I know we've just come off the back of a long weekend, but feels like a lifetime just in a couple of days. With everything that's going on in the world and with New Zealand, you know, coming out of lockdown, going into a new level of socializing, travel, tourism, business. It's exciting times, but I'm exhausted. I'm going to need a break. Wow. So, you know, it's smooth and the tannins are kind of like powdery. You know, they're kind of powdery, they're kind of tingling around the gums. They're not like ripple the moisture from the insides of your cheeks tannins, which, you know, that's not really my cup of tea. You know, I want something that I can just kind of gently chew on. Yeah. This one is great. So yeah, Bostock, Vicky's Vineyard Organic Merlot from Hawke's Bay. $70 a bottle. You can go online and check that out. It's beautiful. I can still taste the wine, and you know how long it's been since I swallowed that. So that's a mark of an exceptional wine. And sealed under cork as well. This is a natural cork. You can tell it's natural. It's very, it's very bendy. It's very elastic. Very clean, clearly, because there's no cork taint in that wine or whatsoever. All right, so let's move to a couple of blends, shall we? I feel terrible tipping that out, but you know, anyone wants to come around to my place and try some wine, there's some empty, well, there's some bottles that you can share. So let's just check that this is not going to fall down. Let's find our Cabernet Merlot. All right, so you know there's that adage, you know, sometimes the sum is greater than the individual parts. Oh, I've probably got that wrong. I've probably cocked that up. But some of the greatest red wines in the world are blends of Merlot and Cabernet, and other varieties as well. But Merlot and Cabernet together, Cabernet and Merlot together, are just like love and marriage, horse and carriage kind of stuff. I mean, I absolutely love it. When you have that intense spice and herbaceousness and dark fruit character of Cabernet Sauvignon, you know, fleshed out, boosted, plumped up with Merlot, that fleshy, beautiful, ripe Merlot. It's just beyond beautiful when done well. So we're going to look at two different wines that are classic blends. So this is one that you'll see pretty much everywhere. It's the Reef Reserve Cabernet Merlot. Now this is from the Gimblett Gravels appellation in Hawke's Bay, and I know it's very Hawke's Bay centric here at the moment on this tasting, but you know, let's be honest, Hawke's Bay is where the majority of these Bordeaux blends, these Bordeaux varieties, are grown, because you know we are just really great at doing it. Our terroir suits it really well. Now this, about $24 a bottle, 24, 25, sometimes you might even get it a little bit cheaper. Available online at the winery, you can pick it up at supermarkets all over the country. Very, very easy to find, and man, they do their breeds well. The Mills Reef team, Paddy Preston and Paul Daywick, their winemaker, they're both winemakers, just experts. They're just extremely good at what they do. So let's pour. Actually, I'll show you something. I had a question from a viewer a couple of What's Your Wine Wednesdays ago, saying, what about aerators, Yvonne? Do you use wine aerators? You know, if you don't have a decanter, can you use an aerator? And I'm like, well, actually, I don't use one that often, but I do have one, and let's just show you. There it is. So this is called a Nuance, right? It's a little gadget which has a stopper on the top, which you pull out, and right, that goes down the neck of the bottle, right? So that goes down the neck of the bottle, and I don't know how close you can see, but you can, it's just like a little metal filter, like a little metal grill lining the inside of it, okay? And what that does is when you put it in the neck of your bottle, like so, right, push it down there. When you pour it into the glass, when you pour the wine into the glass, this little gadget is going to make sure it doesn't drip anywhere, but that little filtration system on the inside is going to mean that if there's any sediment in the wine, it's not going to end up in your glass, okay? Any tartrate crystals, any sediment. So, yeah. Let's have a go. It's all in the wrist. Oh, there we go. Now there's a bit of a flow. That's a trick for young players. Perfect. Right, so Cabernet Merlot, Reserve Cabernet Merlot. Well, what does it say on the back? Does it have, doesn't say the exact percentages of Cabernet and Merlot, but just from sniffing it, I'm getting kind of an equal balance of that kind of plummy, plummy sort of red fruit note from the Merlot, and also that kind of peppery, slightly minty, dark cocoa character of Cab Sav. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty much 50-50. Man, it smells so, so good. Do you know what I should have done? I should have actually poured it into the glass straight from the bottle and then poured some into another glass with the help of the aerator, right? Just to kind of see whether it does make a difference. Well, I reckon it makes a difference, but it'd be good to have done it. Sorry about that, guys. Yum. It just opens up. It's like every swirl you give the glass, you get something new on the nose. This is actually a really good way of making sure that you don't drink too quickly, because it's just so sexy to sniff that it's actually really hard to tear the glass away from your nose for long enough to actually sip it. Wow. Do you know, that's just so yummy? You know, the like the Bostock Merlot that we just tried, yes, it's $70. A lot going on in that wine. You know, so much complexity. This wine, this Cabernet Merlot blend from Mills Reef, $20 to $24 a bottle. Just juicy and easy. It just makes you want to grin as soon as you take a sip. It's a really feel-good wine, but has all of those defining characters of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot that you expect. And I really like it. Really, really good. This vintage here, so this is a couple of years old. This is 2016. They're probably onto the 2018 by now. But either way, if you can find it, get amongst it, because gosh dang, that's a sexy wine. Yum. If anyone has any questions, just fire them through. Tell me how your week's going. Tell me if you've had any wine highlights. You know, what were you drinking over Queen's birthday weekend? I feel dreadful. I probably should have done a wine tasting. But I kind of figured you're probably all out there mowing lawns or driving to Whangamata or, I don't know, travelling, doing something for the weekend. Or like me, just doing housework or binging Netflix stuff. But yeah, tell me what's going on. What kind of wine experiences are you having at the moment? I need to stop talking. I need to focus on this tasting. Man, this wine is just so delish. Yum, yum, yum. So, that was Merlot Cabernet from Mills Reef. Let's move to our next wine. And we're going back down price-wise, and we're going back to that sort of supermarket character. Bebek, right? Hopefully you can see it in the camera there. This is the Bebek Hawke's Bay Merlot Cabernet, right? So Merlot Cabernet, slightly more Merlot in this wine. I think it's about 60%. Oh, Kate, you had a lovely Italian red on Monday with roast lamb. Very good. I'd love to know what that Italian red was, actually. Hello, Jill. Nice to see you. Okay, so Bebek Merlot Cabernet. Sorry about all the dog barking going on in the background, by the way. The neighbours are walking their dogs, and my dogs can see that their dogs are off on a great big walk, and they're very jealous. So if you hear some howling going on in the background, it's my my dogs feeling all sorry for themselves. Anyway, back to it. Bebek, they have been making wine for 100 years in New Zealand, and they were one of the very, very first companies that, while they were based out in West Auckland, they could see the potential of Hawke's Bay, and in particular the Gimblett Gravels area of Hawke's Bay, for their red wines. So back in the 80s, I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, they secured land here, and they've never looked back. This Merlot Cabernet, about $16 a bottle, thereabouts, in supermarkets around the place. So yeah, let's have a go. Right, so first I'm going to have a little taste without the aerator. Okay, so we're just going to go Little taste and a sniff, so that's straight out of the bottle. Or tell a lie, no, I did decant it earlier, but you know, it's been closed up for a while. Okay, yeah, kind of fleshy. You can definitely tell that there's more Merlot in this wine than Cabernet. I don't have the technical specs in front of me, but could even be something like 70%. It's good. Now, let's see if it's even better with our aerator. Okay, there you go, a little nuance in there. Glug, 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 glug. It's all on the wrist. There we go. I love the sound. Glug, 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 glug. Okay, technically supposed to stop the drips, but it didn't in that one. All right, so you can kind of see slightly lighter colour as well. So whereas that Cabernet dominant wine that we had before, the Mills Reef, darker in the glass, Cabernet Sauvignon has more of a dark hue. It's mostly Merlot, so slightly lighter. And yeah, far out, much more on the nose there. Just amazing what that extra warmth of oxygen does to a red wine. It's incredible. So it's kind of got this plummy, almost pruny note, like cherry chocolate, you know. Okay, so I'm a child of the 80s and I was brought up on jelly tip ice blocks, you know, the chocolate covered raspberry tip, and that's what it smells like. That's what this wine smells like. Yum. So, just like that Mills Reef, the Mills Reef Cabernet Merlot, this Merlot Cabernet by Bebek, so juicy and super drinkable. And you'd expect that, you know, if you're paying under $20 for a red wine, then yeah, you want to be able to just attack it. You want to be able to launch into it. You don't necessarily want to have to think about it too much. But I tell you what, I'm thinking about how delicious this wine is. It is just, again, it just brings the grins. You know, it's super nice. If you were having, I don't know, like sausage casserole or good old spag bowl, something really uncomplicated like a, you know, meat lovers pizza from Hell's. I'm not quite sure what the meat lovers pizza from Hell's is actually called. My son works for Hell's Pizza. I should know these things anyway. But I can still taste that wine. So there's a pattern running through these Hawke's Bay Bordeaux style wines. Great length of flavour. And there's a little bit of black tea coming through as well, which I really love. That is great. I really like that. So, just take our aerator out, hoist that back up there, put the Mills Reef back, because I'm one of these people that likes to clean up as she goes. Hello, Paul McAvoy, how are you? Hoping you've had a good day out on the vineyard. Now, here is something that I've been wanting to open for a very, very long time, and I've been resisting because, you know, I wanted to share it with a few people, and, you know, who better to share it with than you guys. But when we're talking about red wine blends, this is one of my favorites, and it's the Sacred Hill Broken Stone. This is from 2014 now. This is one of their premium wines, the absolute sort of top of the tree. And Broken Stone used to be pretty much 100% Merlot. And it was called, they called it Broken Stone because the grapes came from a vineyard right beside the Dartmoor River, well, it's not the Dartmoor River, it's the Tudaikuri River, which runs through the Dartmoor region, which is kind of, it's behind Taradale, heading further inland, or Taradale, Napier. Anyway, great little river, great trout in there too, by the way. But there was a vineyard on the riverbank, just down from the main cellar door area, and they called it the Stony Broke, because it pretty much sent them broke. Okay, but over time, they, the Sacred Hill team, were able to, get their hands on land in the gimlet gravels, and gradually their top wines, such as Brokenstone, ended up becoming gimlet gravels wines. So this is not 100% Merlot anymore. Oh, Paul, you've had a warm day pruning and you missed the Mills Reef. Oh, you're just gonna have to go and buy some yourself and try it. But actually, it's been a gorgeous day here in Hawke's Bay. For anyone that's been out grape pruning, I need to actually prune the grapevines in my backyard. They're looking pretty bad. Anyway, so what is in the Brokenstone? Well, get ready. You've got Merlot, Malbec, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc. So 5 red grapes in the one bottle. Technically, it's not a Bordeaux blend because it has Syrah in it, and Syrah is not one of the permitted grapes in Bordeaux. So let's just not call it Bordeaux. Let's just call it awesome. So here we go. The Brokenstone 2014. This is going to set you back about $45 thereabouts. So while it's not going to make you suck the air in through your teeth like the Bostock Merlot did, it's not a cheap wine, but man oh man, is it worth it. So let's just pop in our little Nuance aerator. Let's grab a fresh glass. And there we go. How beautiful is that? Gorgeous colour. Beautiful colour. Man, the smell. Again, you guys need smell-o-vision. We need to try and figure out how to do that on Facebook. Wow. So with the addition of that kind of meaty Malbec, the pepperiness of the Syrah, the bright kind of boysenberry characters of Cabernet Franc, combined with that plummy raspberry cherryness of the Merlot, and that herbaceous kind of hit from the Cabernet, man, you have got something that, like, literally I want to put my finger in and then dab it behind my ears. It smells so delightful. Oh, I've just had a question about what was the Mills Reef. I'm just going to go back in time and show you. So Mills Reef, hopefully you can see it on the camera. Mills Reef Reserve Cabernet Merlot. Mills Reef Reserve Cabernet Merlot, about between $20 and $25 a bottle. There you go. Stunning. Really good. This one is 2016, but I've also tried the 18, which is gorgeous, but you'll be able to find them on the market. Very great value for money. So, oh my god, Brokenstone, wow. Just the perfume is radical. Like leather, spice, freshly ploughed earth, rain when it's just hit hot asphalt, that petrichor character. And some people think, wine descriptors, they're just a load of waffle, but it's real. Those things are actually in the glass. And I love the way that wine has this way, when I stop and sniff a wine, it doesn't matter what chaos has been going on in my brain, it doesn't matter how crazy my life has been that day, that week, whatever, it doesn't matter how many distractions there are, going around in the room around me. If I just need to zen, if I just need to kind of bring it all in and really focus my thoughts, if I pour a wine and I stick my nose deep in the glass, just those, trying to capture the sense, just trying to snap my brain into thinking, what is it? What's that berry? What's that fruit? What's that spice? Just clears everything. It gives me clarity. Which sounds weird because for a lot of people, they think, drink wine, you're going to get all fuzzy. But, for me, I find it a way of bringing great clarity, to my thought process. It actually calms my brain down when I have to think, about what I'm getting in the glass. Wow. That must be the 6th wow that I've said this afternoon. That's my alarm going. Drink lots of water. It's true. I'm terrible at drinking water. 4:30 every day. I set an alarm to drink water. Anyway, distraction. Distraction. Do you know what that wine tastes like? It's got great acidity. Great acidity. So for a 6-year-old wine, it's very, very young. So Brokenstone, designed to cellar for decades. So this is still, at 2014, this is just a puppy, right? Just a puppy. And you can tell that from the acidity. It's bright. It's like, it's electrifying. It's just making my gums tingle. Mm. Mm. And the tannins are chewy, but they're kind of elastic and stretchy. Kind of like, you know, like a bungee cord stretching across your tongue. I know. The picture is not that romantic, but man oh man, this wine. I'm so pleased that I opened it this afternoon. I'm really, really pleased. And I'm pleased that I opened it with you guys, because that's really special. And yeah, so just a little bit of background. Sacred Hill pretty much gave me one of my first, I guess, career roles in wine. So when I was made redundant from TVNZ back in 1998, moved back to Hawke's Bay and decided, right, I'm actually going to turn my hobby, which was wine, and it was a hobby, don't go there, it was, you know, I actually used to collect books and Cuisine magazine and Michael Cooper's Buyer's Guide, and, you know, I used to buy nice bottles of wine when I had a bit of spare cash, and it was my thing. I really loved it. I thought, right, I'm going to get into the industry, and I got a job in a wine store in Havelock North called Havelock North Wines and Spirits under the great late Richard Gregory, and then had my first baby, and just after she was born I was like, right, I need to work, you know, I actually need to earn money. We want to try and buy a house. So I went to the Sacred Hill people, and I'd been doing Sacred Hill tastings when I was living in Auckland at, you know, in-store tastings at Glengarry's and things like that, and really, really enjoyed it. Kind of cut my teeth on how to talk to people about wine by opening bottles of Sacred Hill wine in different Glengarry stores and different wine shops around the place, and learning about their story. And they gave me a job, you know, running the cellar door for a couple of summers, the cellar door and restaurant up at Dartmoor. And just some of the most special, some of the most hilarious times of my life with, you know, the Mason brothers and Tony Bish, Tracy and Suze, and, you know, everyone, you know, once you've worked in Sacred Hill, you are part of the family. So, yeah. Bit of background. So there we go. Brokenstone, Merlot, Malbec, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc. About $45 a bottle. Look it up. It's just great. The 14, drinking superbly. And then the last wine, the very last wine that I'm going to talk to you about, we can't even actually drink because it's empty. I know, a bit of a tease, but I opened this wine the other day. It's the Squawking Magpie Cab Sav Merlot Cab Franc from the Gimlet Gravels, and it's the 2013. And anyone that's in wine, especially Hawke's Bay wine, knows that 2013 was hailed as, you know, the vintage of a lifetime, certainly the vintage of the century. And right now, those 2013 wines, the really good ones, they are starting to really hit their straps and come into a really great drinking time. And this one, the SQM by Squawking Magpie, no exception. It's about $70 a bottle, so yeah, it's not cheap, I'll admit, but it is an absolute stunner. And I am really, really proud to say that we, if anyone's a Wine Friend subscriber or thinking about becoming a Wine Friend subscriber, this is going to end up in our Icons and Innovators cases over the next couple of months. So very, very, very special wine. And if you are into red wine and you want to give wine subscriptions a go to winefriend.co.nz and sign up, because this baby could end up in your case. And it is magnificent, really, really powerful wine. And I feel really bad because me and my friends just kind of went through the bottle super quick because it was so gorgeous. It had real presence, it had power, it had this beautiful perfume. It was an absolute stunner. If you can't wait until you get your Wine Friend Icons and Innovators case, just go to Squawking Magpie's website and get a bottle on your own. It is very, 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 very good. And the fact that there's still a little bit of 2013 available is just radical to me. Blows my mind. So yeah, get in there. Okay, so for those of you that have just joined us, I will be posting this on YouTube and saving it on Facebook, so don't fret. But just to give you an idea of what we've looked at today, first wine that we did was the Brookfields Ohiti Cabernet Sauvignon, 2017, Hawke's Bay, obviously, but from an Ohiti sort of sub-region. Great for Cabernet Sauvignon. Then the next one that we did, and by the way, this is about 20 bucks a bottle. Great value. The next one that we did was the Bostock Organic Merlot, and this is grown in the Bridge Par region of Hawke's Bay. 2017 is the vintage, and man oh man, just magnificent, magnificent, full, fleshy, plump, gorgeous Merlot. $70 a bottle, so it's up there, worth every cent though. Think about the last thing you spent 70 bucks on. It's probably not going to be as tasty as that. Then we went straight to a Cabernet Merlot blend. This is the Mills Reef Reserve. It's really hard actually. This light doesn't, you can't really see the label very well. I do apologize for that. Yeah, $20 to $25 a bottle. Stunning, great value, and just brings the grins. Like, it's a wonderful wine. Just makes everybody happy. Then we went to the opposite end of the spectrum with Bebek Merlot Cabernet. So mostly Merlot with a little bit of Cabernet blended in, and just gorgeous, and about 16 bucks a bottle. You pick it up at supermarkets, wine shops, it's all over the place, and it's fabulous. Then we looked at the gorgeous Sacred Hill Broken Stone, which is Merlot and Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon and Malbec and Cabernet Franc. It's like the most magically delicious mongrel of a wine that you could possibly ever drink. It's just beautiful. $44, $45 a bottle. And last but not least, we didn't actually taste it, was the Squawking Magpie SQM Cab Sav Merlot Cab Franc, and it is just magnificent. So there we have it. That's your What's Your Wine Wednesday. I'm really pleased that I was able to share some wine with you, and if you have any questions or suggestions as to what kinds of wine styles you'd like me to look at next week, then fire them through. I'd love to hear suggestions. But you know, for now, everyone, take care, have a gorgeous Wednesday evening, and I hope you have some great wine and you stay safe and be kind. All right, see you everyone.